Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Rachel and I am knitting. Not right now, but most of the time. And I have been knitting and I'm going to tell you all about it, and I guess you wonder where I've been. I've been here, but you didn't know it. I haven't had a video in a long time. Where have you been, Rachel? Exactly 2 people asked me this. So most of you certainly don't care. But for those of you who have been wondering, I've been busy. I've been so busy getting the 2026 knitting tour lineup solidified. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you will have seen me posting about it. But yeah, that has been consuming my mental capacity and my free time over the course of the last few weeks, getting all the I's dotted, all the T's crossed. But I am so happy that all 3 of my current 2026 knitting tour offerings are out to the public. Today, the day of filming, is Sunday, March 30th. So right now, the only people who have had access to sign up are those who are returners, like established tour participants, and those who are on my email list. But by the time this video goes up on Tuesday morning, April 1st, April 1st for me, it will be available to everyone. So anyway, I'll talk to you more about the knitting tours. I know not everyone is interested or can go on a knitting tour. So if you are interested, sit tight and I'll talk to you more about the knitting tours during the announcements portion of the podcast, which of course you can skip ahead to if you so choose. Anyway, all that to say, that's what I've been up to. That's why I have been a little bit absent. And by a little bit, I mean extremely absent. Normally, I try to upload a podcast or some sort of long-form YouTube video weekly, once a week, and that has not happened for the last 3 weeks. And I should also say, in addition to getting the knitting tour lineups solidified, DJ and I went out of town to go to a wedding. My former housemate, Alexandra, got married on the Ides of March. It was super fun, super beautiful ceremony, and then we had a toga party afterwards because it was the Ides of March, so that was super fun. And I've realized that going away for a weekend is a lot of work. Like, we drove to Knoxville, which is about a 9-hour drive if you're not stopping. So of course we stopped for bathroom breaks for ourselves and for Darby, who's down here underneath this chair. Oh my goodness, this is another thing that took up a lot of time. I redid the craft room. DJ helped me immensely, but it is such a functional space now compared to what it was before. In fact, here's an aerial. Oh, there she is. I guess I was wrong in where she was. But yeah, so I got a knitting chair. Super excited about that. Complete with an ottoman. And I replaced the cubby system that was back there. Now it's just a 3x3 cubby console. And then on this side of the... Oh! I hope in editing, I'll go to black and white because there's some yarn you're not allowed to see there, but black and white, go. Okay, so over on this side of the craft room, I got another yarn wall, which I'm just thrilled about. My spinning wheel exists over there, and of course I have my sock cranking station over here, and it's just a great time. So now I'll go back to live and in color. So yeah, really happy about the craft room, but it was quite a beast to tackle. And in fact, I filmed the whole thing, so if I can get my ducks in a row, I will upload a video walking you through the things that I purchased for this craft room to kind of revamp it and make it be a more functional space for me. Like, watch this. I even got a new desk. Check this out. I'm not moving, you're moving. This is a sit-stand desk. Down, down, down it goes. Okay, so this is where I normally have the desk, but I have it in this up high position for when I'm filming. Normally I had, or I guess previously I'll say, I had the camera sitting atop a Longaberger picnic basket, but now I can just move the desk to make the camera be at the height I want. Isn't that great? So anyway, all this to say, I've been a busy little bee, and I know, of course, you all have very rich and vibrant and busy lives. So me not having a video doesn't, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, but I do know some of you look forward to seeing my videos. Thank you so much. So now the wait is over. Here's a video for you. Great. So let's get started. Today's video is podcast episode 48, or the 48th episode of the podcast. This episode covers my making progress from March 3rd through today. Yeah. Well, technically yesterday, so let me update my notes, through March 29th. So that's like over 3 weeks of time. That's just nutso butso. Sorry about that, folks. So there's a lot of progress and projects and making that I have to update you on. So let's start with project updates. The first project to update you on is on my olive and bean grown up. This is a very special sweater to me. Many of you may remember, but if you are new or you want your memory jogged, this is a collaborative sweater. I worked with, I'm feeling a little self-conscious about all the times I'm saying, but I need to get back in the groove of filming a podcast. It's been a minute, okay? So I'm sorry that I'm rusty. Actually, I'm not sorry. It is what it is, and I am who I am, and you can take it or leave it. Anyway, collaborative sweater. This is the olive and bean grown up, designed by Andrea Mowry, and the collaborative part is the yarn that I worked this up in. This is Honey and Quill, hand dyed by McKenna in Boston, and the main color is a special colorway that she made in partnership with me. It's called Fairywinkle. So very, very special. It's very pretty, watercolory, blue-purple yarn. Just gorgeous. I have a skein left over on the bottom left. I had to remember which way is right and left. Bottom left of my craft wall. In fact, since I now have yarn wall. Since I now have two yarn walls, I just want to formally introduce you to Paul Skeins. This is Paul Skeins. If you're a baseball fan, you'll understand why that's hilarious, because there's a baseball player named Paul Skeins, and the yarn wall holds skeins. Okay, onward. So, yes, very, very special colorway, and very, very special finished sweater. The contrast color, let me come back to what I was saying and not get distracted if possible. The contrast color is Wisteria, which is a beautiful light purple, like kind of a lilac-y, lavendery purple. And both colors, I used the Highland DK base from McKenna, which is a 100% non-superwash Peruvian Highland wool. It was a dream to work with. I definitely recommend her Highland DK base. Because also I want to incorporate more non-superwash yarns into my collection and into my wardrobe and the projects that I'm making, so I was very, very pleased to work with this yarn. Now, this is washed or blocked. I mean, same thing. Tomato, tomato, you know. But this is washed, this is blocked, and I did not weave in the ends on the sleeves, nor, if I remember correctly, did I weave in the ends on the body? I don't know. I can't remember. It was so dang long ago. But I did that on purpose because I wasn't sure if I would want to add length to the sleeves. So looking at this, I do feel like I may want to add length to the body actually, but I'm not sure yet. I kind of want to fix a few things first before I know for sure what the length I want is. For instance, I want to cinch up the neckline with an elastic thread. If you have been around here a while, you've probably heard me say this so many times, but it's not really my preference to have the collar of my t-shirts that I wear typically underneath a sweater poke out. So I do think I'll cinch the neckline up just a smidge, and that may impact the length of the sleeves. So I may add length to the sleeves. In fact, I think I probably should add just a little bit of length because, like, when I stretch my arms out, I don't know, I just feel like they They're the perfect length if I weren't alive. Like, they'd be the perfect length to be buried in, let's be frank. But as I am living and breathing, I do move around, and I don't know. I'd like maybe a little bit more give and wiggle room for this sweater, for the sleeves. So yeah, so there. So I suppose the first order of business is to cinch up the neckline with elastic, and then try this on over jeans and also over dresses, you know, just the way that I normally would style a sweater. See how I like the look, and then go from there with adding length to the sleeves and or the body. But I really enjoyed knitting this pattern. Colorwork yoke sweaters are really fun, in my opinion, to knit, because the yoke is so, well, I guess certainly it depends on the pattern, but typically, in my experience, the yoke portion of colorwork yoke sweaters are so engaging because you're knitting in the round, you're doing this beautiful colorwork motif, depending on the pattern, what it is, and then you get to take the overhead yoke shot, which is very, very satisfying, and just feels like, oh, you can be so proud of all your hard work because it just looks gorgeous. And then you get to split for sleeves, and it's all downhill from there. So I really do enjoy colorwork yoke sweaters. I would recommend this pattern. I liked making it, and it's just special to have. I do want to make these tweaks fairly soon, if I'm going to, which I'm fairly certain I will, because I would love to bring this with me to Scotland. However, putting it on just now, it was quite warm, but also it's a hot, humid day here in South Louisiana, so maybe this would be just fine for Scotland. In fact, I was talking to Leslie about this, and she was like, yeah, bring this to Scotland. You don't have any content with this yet. These are the things we think about, folks. Yes. So, like to get that done relatively soon, maybe this week. I'll put the finishing touches on this sweater, and if so, I'll show you the results next week. But of course, you never know. I may not get to it this week. Let's just put all the stuff that I'm done with on the chair, because since the desk is so high now, I feel like I'm a little kid at like a candy counter, so anyway, I just don't want to overload the desk because it's kind of not normal, the height it is for me and what I'm used to. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Next, let's talk about the Midland Cardigan. This is a project, or a pattern, I should say, by Laura Penrose of, is her handle Penrose Knits, or is it just Laura Penrose? I'm not sure. But it's a very interesting pattern. To jog your memory, this is a garter stitch cardigan, and it's worked sideways. I think this is the first time I've made a sideways garment. And let's see, the last time I updated you on this, certainly, I failed myself because I didn't have it in my notes. But I think the last time, I'm not sure if the side seams had been sewn yet, but they certainly are now. Dun da da da. And I think that this will fit perfectly in terms of circumference. It's going to be a little tight around my bust, which, you know, I think looks very good on me. Anyway, but it will have some, you know, positive ease around my tummy, and I just think it will look really good. Now, I'm not as far as I was on this cardigan, and you may think, Rachel, how is that possible? Well, it's because I frogged. I had about half of the first sleeve completed. However, I'll put a picture here or here to show you. I just could not, in good conscience, continue because the difference in color distribution was too glaring, in my opinion, for something that I know that will bother me. So I took the sleeve out and I wound a new skein of yarn, which is still on my yarn winder actually, and I'm going to try the sleeve again. However, as often happens with me, when I hit a roadblock in a pattern or a project, I kind of just ignore my problems for a while until my Bravery battery recharges to its full capacity. And in the meantime, I pick up another project, and that kind of sucks up all my focus. So that has definitely happened. I haven't revisited the Midland Cardigan since the frustration with the sleeves. But once I do, like once the switch flicks, once the switch flicks in my brain and I'm ready to revisit the Midland Cardigan, it will go quickly because it's just the sleeves and then the button band, which I think with my, like, if I focus on a project, I could do 2 sleeves and a button band in a week's time, I feel. I don't think that will happen this week, but certainly before Scotland, which is really the deadline I'm chasing for many projects, as you saw with the Bean and Olive Grown Up, but also with this because I really want to wear it in Scotland, not just because I think it will be perfect for layering and just the practicality that I'll need in my wardrobe for that trip, but also because multiple people have been working on Midland cardigans, at least for the first Scotland trip. So I think it would be so fun if we all brought our Midland cardigans. Like Leslie is working on one and she is almost finished. I think Heather started one, Sam's starting one, a couple other people have finished them. So I think Rebecca finished hers, so it's just going to be a great time in our Midlands. So I really would like to get that done. So that might be, well, certainly that should be oh my gosh, it's April in 2 days. I was going to say that'll be done in April, it'll be no problem. But April is right on our doorsteps. Woof. Okay, so that's the update on the Midland cardigan. The third project that I'll share with you is, stand by, my homespun hat. Last episode, which was 6 years ago, I was working on a 2x2 ribbed hat out of my homemade yarn, my hand-spun yarn. This is Dicentra Designs, a wool, bamboo, and tussa silk blend. The update on the hat is I frogged it, and now it's this skein again. Because I just didn't feel good about it, and this skein is so special to me that I want to make sure that I make something that I will feel good about, and I just didn't know what that would be yet, so I reskeined it, and now it lives on my yarn wall. So that's the update on project number 3. Project number 4, my Margot cardigan. I don't have it to show you. And even if I did, you wouldn't care because I only got a few rows on it, I believe, in the last couple weeks. But when I do pick it up, it's really nice to knit on. Very meditative. Highly recommend that pattern. At least so far, I'm liking it. All right, project number 5 is my Palm Springs tank, which I have been working on sporadically throughout the month. And I am on the back panel decreases. This is definitely my slowest moving project yet, or currently in my project lineup. This is a preview knit I'm doing for Leslie of Knit California. It's been crumpled up in my purse. Hopefully those wrinkles will block out. But I'm knitting this up in a cotton merino blend from Long Dog Yarn in the colorway Turn Poison into Positivity. And this, I need to make my main whip, my priority whip, because the test for the Palm Springs tank ends in a couple weeks. So I need to focus on this. I think maybe tomorrow I'll just dive in and focus on this exclusively until I finish it. So I think I could finish this week because I have a lot of free time this week. So that would be good. But there's the update on my Palm Springs tank. And last but not least for knitting projects is my Alchemy pullover, which I have made the most progress on of all my current whips. I mean, aside from like finishing the Bean and Olive Grown Up and stuff. But I am just a few rows, I think less than 10 rows, I think maybe 6 rows. Let's see. 7 rows. I'm 7 rows away from joining in the round, which will be just a treat and a joy, and I love this pattern. This is the Alchemy Pullover, did I say this, by Leslie of Knit California. So 2 Knit California designs in a row for my project updates. And this will be my second Alchemy Pullover. I almost said California sweater, but that is a different pattern. My second Alchemy Pullover, and I'm working this up in Carpet from Cesium Yarn, which, like Fairywinkle on my Bean and Olive Grown Up, is a collaborative colorway. This is part of the Cabin collection that I did with Kat and Penny Strickland of Cesium Yarn. This was in the fall. This was September of 2023. Oh my goodness, it's already been a year and a half since the Cabin collection. That's so special. But yeah, this green is inspired by the carpet of our family cabin on the Oregon coast, and it's just so special to me. So I'm very, very excited to wear this. And again, I'll give you one guess of when I'd like to finish this by. That's correct. I'd like to finish this to wear in Scotland. Not only because wearing green in like Ireland and Scotland feels right, but also because I know I want to bring at least one Alchemy pullover on the trip. And this one will be a little bit more oversized than my first Alchemy pullover, so I think that's the vibe I'm going for. And also, my mom knit a field day cardigan in a sweater quantity of Carpet, and I'm assuming she will bring that on the Scotland trip. I'll have to double check with her. But it would be nice to match with her, even though they'd be different patterns, but same yarn. And so special to our family. So that's that with the Alchemy pullover. And that's it for project updates. So let's move now into Spin Diary. When I originally made my notes for this episode of the podcast, I didn't have any Spin Diary to update you on. And then 3 weeks went by, and I have done a lot of spinning in those 3 weeks. So the first finished yarn I have to show you is this skein of White Sands National Park. This is from a braid of fiber from Brandy of Long Dog Yarn, and this was from her Yarn of Enchantment pre-order, which is inspired by landmarks and special things to New Mexico. So this has purples and grays and almost like browns in some places. So I did a 2-ply on this, which has kind of been my go-to for spinning. And the fiber is Rambouillet silk. If I remember correctly, it's 70% Rambouillet, 30% silk, but I may be misremembering the ratios. But it's really plump and really pretty. I have learned about myself, though, that I really like more colorful spins. Like, that really keeps me engaged. And for this, the contrast was a little bit more low than my brain wanted to keep, being scratched, you know? But now that I'm looking at this and I have some distance from the experience of spinning it, I just think it's gorgeous. But in the moment, I was kind of like, I want some more excitement, and this wasn't offering that. So that's something that I've learned about myself, and I may implement in my fiber purchases moving forward. But also, it's so hard to tell how, for me at least, it's hard to tell how a fiber will spin up, because like, for instance, on this skein from the Little Wolf Knits, this is spun up in a braid that was, one braid that was really vibrant pink, purple, red, and one braid that was really vibrant blue, green. And the finished yarn is much more like almost diluted or just muted, a muted version of the braids of fiber that it was originally coming from. So it's a learning experience. Like, I think that the process of drafting the fiber and pulling them apart and then spinning them together kind of dilutes the color or spreads the color out. I'm not quite sure. If you know why this happens, let me know in the comments. But anyway, all this to say, I'm learning that the finished skein, certainly most of the time in my experience, I can tell, oh yeah, that came from that braid, but it's different than I expected it would be in yarn form, if that makes sense. So, but anyway, all this to say, this is my first skein that I finished. I don't know the weight or the yardage because I decided I don't care about that stuff anymore. And I would much rather not bother with it. So I would say it's probably a sport weight, maybe a heavy fingering mostly, but I'd be confident saying sport weight, not quite DK. And then the next spin that I did, this is a drama story. Here's my spin from Little Fiber Co. I ordered from her cookware collection. I tried, what did I order? I ordered Blueface Leicester, and then the other fiber I got, I don't know, I'll show you in acquisitions because I have to pull it out. But for the Blueface Leicester fiber I got 3 colors. I got a pink, I got a purple, and I got a brown. And I thought these will look so good plied together in a 3-ply. And here's what that ended up looking like. And I have to say, another learning experience of what I don't like. I don't really like how this is kind of candy striping or barber poling or marling. It's not my favorite. What I wish I had done was draft all 3 braids. I got 2 ounces of each color in the BFL. I wish I had drafted all 3 into long strips and then like spun a strip of the pink and then a strip of the purple and then a strip of the brown and kept doing that until I spun all the strips and then plied it together in a 2-ply. So it would have been kind of like this, or whoops, or at least what I imagine it might have been, like kind of letting the colors blend and overlap and play together a little bit more instead of being this like very high contrast marling. It's just not my favorite, but it is still yarn and I did still make it. So a win is a win, folks, but definitely a learning experience of something I may, I don't know, avoid doing in the future. Now, since the process of spinning this was spinning through all of the purple at once, and then spinning through all the pink at once, and then spinning through all the brown at once, and then plying those 3 singles together, here's where the drama comes in. When I was spinning the brown, which I think was the last of the 3 colors that I was spinning into a single, I realized like halfway through that I was spinning it counterclockwise, whereas typically I spin my singles clockwise and then I ply them counterclockwise. So what that means is I wouldn't be able to ply that brown that I was spinning the wrong direction with. Anyway, so I had to pivot. Okay, so, and let me put my hair back in a ponytail because all this kerfuffling has disheveled me. There we go. So yes, so this is, I stopped with that and I restarted the brown, spinning it in the correct direction, but I still had some of the counterclockwise single on a bobbin. So I ended up chain plying that brown together. So then that meant that I had leftovers of the pink and the purple on my bobbins because I had this amount of brown that I couldn't ply with this amount of pink and purple, so I 2-plied the pink and purple, and I got another barber pole, candy striping, marled skein, and then this is what I had left of the purple, so I made a little mini skein out of the purple single. So here's what I got out of 6 ounces of BFL from Lauren of Little Fiber Co. I have 1 skein of 3 colors plied together, 1 skein of 2 colors plied together, 1 skein of brown chain plied and 1 mini skein of purple single. Dun, 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 dun. So, a huge learning experience. Now, here's where I need your help. I think that this chain plied brown yarn would be super cute as doll hair. So I think I'm going to save this for maybe one day when I make a doll. Who knows when that will happen on my never-ending to-do list of things I'd like to do. But what kind of projects looks good? Okay, that subject-verb agreement did not work. What kind of project looks good with high contrast marled yarn? Do you have ideas? Like, what should I do? I'm really at a loss here. So please help me out. No wrong answers. Give me some ideas in the comments. Please, please, please. But that's the update on my Little Fiber Co. spin. And then the next spin that I have to show you, I'm going to change to black and white. Okay, we're black and white now. Because here's what it is. It is a preview spin that I'm doing for Camry of Golden Hour Knitwear. She has a collection coming out at the end of April. And she opened up applications for, I think, sample knitters and preview spinners, and I applied to be a preview spinner. So I got to select, I was assigned this variegated colorway, and then I got to select 2 complementary skeins or braids of fiber to go with it. So I selected one tonal, this is a dark tonal, and one tonal, this is a light tonal, to go with the variegated skein. And the reason they're not skeined up yet is because they're still drying. But basically, as a preview spinner, my job was to spin these up and then knit with them or crochet with them or somehow work them up, and to document it and post a picture of it leading up to the collection. So since the colorways haven't been revealed yet, I'm not going to show you the colors, but once Camry reveals them, I'll show them to you both on probably YouTube and Instagram. But I have 3 skeins waiting to be twisted up, and then I haven't quite decided what I will make yet. I was thinking maybe like a granny square pillow sham would be really fun, alternating colors, but I haven't 100% decided. Also, this is a learning experience too, because the fiber base for these braids was a combination of Blueface Leicester, BFL, and mohair. So this was my first time spinning with mohair. And I am glad that I tried it, but it was super messy. Like, if you think knitting with mohair is messy, spinning with mohair is even messier. But I don't know, these skeins are so beautiful that I think I would do it again. I would take on the mess again, because these are the yarn, the twist, the plump is really, really nice, especially after I washed it. So I'm looking forward to see how these skein up. And also I have a little mini skein because I had leftovers. Oh, this is another thing I did. I messed up the twist of the, let's see if you can tell. It might be too hard to tell when it's black and white, but I'm not even going to try and show you because it's black and white. But basically I spun the variegated braid in the wrong direction. Just the same problem that I had with the brown yarn from Little Fiber Co. or the brown fiber that I was spinning. So I have 2 skeins. The 2 tonals are spun with, I can never remember which is which, if it's Z or S, but the 2 tonals I spun clockwise and plied counterclockwise, and the variegated I spun counterclockwise and plied clockwise. So that meant my leftovers, I couldn't really 3-ply them together. So what I did was, my friend, I think it was Rebecca who told me this, she said you can do something called a crepe 3-ply, which is when you take 2 clockwise singles and you spin them counterclockwise, and then you ply that 2-ply yarn with a counterclockwise spun single. Anyway, so I have this, which I don't know how much you'll be able to see in this black and white, but it's kind of an interesting yarn that it created, and I'm interested to see what it becomes. I haven't decided yet. So we'll go back to in color. There we go, in color now. And I think that's it for the spinning that I've done. Yes, so then let's move to acquisitions. I have to get up and grab some things, so bear with me. Okay, so my acquisitions are mostly fiber related, but my friend Marina of Rapunzel Fiber Arts, she sent me a huge box full of fiber. She has a drum carder, and she was so generous to send me all sorts of different blends so I could try different fibers. So she sent me this Feywild Bat, which is 94% Cormo and 6% green sari silk noil. I'm not sure what that is exactly, but it sounds exciting, and you can kind of see the green in there. I think that will be very, very pretty. And then also in the box we have 94% Romney wool and Romney X wool and 6% rainbow pink sari silk noil, so a nice brown here also. And then we've got 85% non-superwash merino wool, 5% Tussa silk noil, or no, just Tussa silk, 5% sari silk noil, 5% Starbright sparkles, and it's this really pretty purple bat. Exciting. I've never spun from a bat, so I'm excited to try that. I'm super excited for these. These are Binary Sunset Rolags, which are a blend of merino wool, Tussa silk, and mulberry silk. I really like spinning from Rolags, but I haven't done it in almost a year, I think. Well, I don't know. Time isn't real. Last summer, I think, is when I spun with Rolags that my friend Corey sent me. So I'm excited to do that again. And then also this buttered popcorn bat, which is 94% Targhee wool, Targhee X wool. What does that mean when there's an X there? And gold sari silk noil. And then this cutie patootie little Rolag that is called Coruscant, whatever, something. But yeah, super, super generous to send me all that. Thank you so much. You can check out her work at Rapunzel Fiber Arts on Instagram. I was going to say Facebook, but I'm not sure if she's on Facebook. And then here is the other fiber that I got from Lauren of Little Fiber Co. Little Fiber Co. And it's Targhee. Targhee. I couldn't remember what the other fiber blend that I got from her was in the pre-order. So all that yarn I showed you, the drama story yarn, that was BFL, wasn't it? See, now I'm getting everything mixed up here. Little Fiber Co. Yeah, it was BFL, Blueface Luster. So, you want to know something embarrassing? Going to grad school in England and trying to pronounce Leicester for the first time in front of your professor. It's not Leicester. It's Leicester. Okay. Anyway, this is 100% Targhee, 2 ounces each, and I got these because I thought it would be nice to support our favorite baseball team, favorite football team, but I don't know about that anymore, so I don't know what I'll do with these. I think that maybe I'll try to do what I wanted, like what I've learned I wish I had done with this, and prep both of these together, make them into long strips, and then spin like a mix of the yellow, a mix of the purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, and then ply them together so they overlap and they mix and they join, and it's a little bit more random and fun than having the consistent marling. Maybe I'll do that, but I don't know. And then I also have a braid from Long Dog Yarn, but I don't know where it is. In the craft room reorganization, I put it somewhere safe, but I don't know where somewhere safe is, you know? So, yeah, not sure about that. But it was, what was it? It was a green one from her. You know what? Let me try and find it. I found it. Okay, so this is a braid of Polwarth. I think this will be my first time spinning Polwarth. It feels really, really nice. So this is the Rio Grande del Norte 4-ounce braid, and it's got nice color changing from blues to greens to browns. I think this will be just what I need, but I'm not sure what I'll spin next. I think probably something from Marina, because I want to try, maybe this. Really want to try a bat, or maybe this, because Rolags are easy to spin, or at least for me, the one time I did it before. So maybe it's time that I revisit it. So yeah. Also for acquisitions, I got a plastic Swift, which is a good lesson for me to stop getting rid of stuff I have, because I had a plastic Swift. In fact, it was the first Swift I ever got, but I've since upgraded to a Knit Pick Swift, wooden Swift that I love, and the Vivo Skeiner, which I also love for my hand spun. But I want to try the Kato electric yarn winder, and based on what Leslie has gone through and figured out, it works best with a metal Swift. So I got this to have on hand for when I try the Kato electric yarn winder, which may be soon, maybe not soon, I don't know. It just, you know, sometimes your ducks get in a row so fast. They're like, yep, let me get in line. Where's the row? I'm going to get in it. And the ducks are very motivated to behave. Sometimes the ducks, these are not real ducks, by the way, these are ducks in your mind. Sometimes your mind ducks are like, I don't want to get in line. I've got better things to do. I want to go look at the pond. I want to go splash around. I want to go find a lily pad to sit on. So sometimes your ducks dilly-dally and they simply won't get in a row. So I don't know what my ducks are going to do at any given time. I don't know if they're going to be well-behaved ducks and be ready to get in a row. More often than not, they are a little scatterbrained and they forget that roll call has happened and they don't race to get in a row. Anyway, if you have some mental ducks who also misbehave, you're not alone. And I certainly hope that I'm not either. Anyway, that's that for acquisitions, I do believe. So now let's move to announcements. This is the most exciting part of the podcast for me, because I am looking forward to escaping reality in 2026. And I think that you should escape with me. There's 3 opportunities currently. There's one in April, or late April through early May. Let me tell you all about it. It's a Scotland and Shetland knitting tour. It starts on April 24th and it ends on May 3rd. So I believe that's 9 nights. That sounds right. But you can count on your fingers. April 24th through May 3rd. We start in Edinburgh. We have 3 nights on the Shetland Islands. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun. We're going to have a sheepdog demonstration. We're going to go to Glam's Castle. We're going to have a knitting belt workshop. If you've watched my knitting belt work and you're like, man, I want to try that, you should come on this knitting tour, because there's a knitting belt included in the knitting belt workshop. Everybody gets one. It's amazing. So anyway, I know that a lot of you watched my recap of my Shetland trip in July of 2024, which is, if you haven't seen, check it out. It's a great recap, despite the shaky camera footage. Sorry about that. It was before I was gifted a gimbal. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Many people have wanted to go to Shetland. Whenever I have advertised a different trip, when I advertised the Scottish Highlands trips, when I advertised the Irish knitting tour for this October, emails, messages, comments, people said, this sounds great, but I want to go to Shetland. Guess what? Your time is coming in April of 2026 and early May of 2026. So, as I said in the beginning of the podcast, signups should be open to everyone now, so I'll leave the link to each tour itinerary in the video description, as well as a pinned comment, so you go and check out the itinerary and the booking process. Once the trips are full, they're full, and you may have to wait a whole other year before there's an opportunity to join me on an equivalent knitting tour. So if you want to go with me to Shetland, Scotland and Shetland, make sure that you sign up for the 2026 tour taking place from April 24th through May 3rd, 2026. The second opportunity to escape reality and change your life forever is on the Knit the Wild Atlantic Way with Rachel tour. And this takes place from May 11th through 20th, 2026. So we are going to start in Dublin. We're going to go to Crafts of Ireland, which you know is one of my favorite places in the entire world. Sandra Coote is one of my immense role models. She does what I wish I could do. She needle felts, she dyes, she spins, she knits, she crochets, she does it all. She bakes, she makes butter from scratch. She's incredible. And she invites people into her space to show us how to do it ourselves. It's so cool. We're going to hand feed sheep. We're going to needle felt. We're going to watch Sandra dye yarn. It's going to be amazing. Or maybe she'll dye wool. I'm not sure if it will be yarn or wool, but it will be amazing. So anyway, we do that. Then we go stay 2 nights in a castle hotel. 2 nights. Also on this trip, we're staying 3 nights in a 5-star resort. So if you have someone who loves to golf, but doesn't love to knit, and you don't want to go on a vacation without your sweetie or your loved one or your bestie, they will love the Wild Atlantic Way tour, because the 5-star hotel resort that we're staying 3 nights at, I almost said 5 nights, but it's 3 nights, there's a golf course. So your golfing sweetie, bestie, loved one can hit the green. That's probably what they say. They can hit the green while you knit your stitches with me and all of our new friends. So we're also going to a alpaca farm on that trip. We'll also go to Glen Shane County Farm, which has sheepdogs and sheep, and we can learn about shepherding. We'll also go to the Titanic Belfast exhibit in, you guessed it, Belfast. It's going to be a great time. Also, okay, the Northern Ireland trip, Knit the Wild Atlantic Way. This has something for everyone. There's knitting, there's yarn dyeing, there's spinning, there's weaving, there's needle felting. So the Ireland trip, Ireland and Northern Ireland, the Knit the Wild Atlantic Way tour, this I definitely recommend for you if you like to dabble in a bunch of different crafts, because this tour will give you the opportunity to maybe try new crafts or build skills in crafts that you haven't reached proficiency that you'd like. You can pick the brains of our knitting instructors and weaving instructors and spinning and etc. So I definitely recommend that if you like to dabble in a bunch of different things. And then the third tour currently on offer is taking place from September 12th through September 19th, 2026, and it is the Knitting Through Copenhagen, or Copenhagen, which, how do you say it? Tell me. Knitting Through the Copenhagen with Rachel, and it's a 7-night tour throughout Denmark, mostly in Copenhagen. We're staying at one hotel the whole time, and it's a 5-star hotel. So you only have to unpack once, and then you can be pampered and enjoy the luxuriousness of a 5-star hotel all week long while you explore the city. You go to all these yarn stores. We're going to 2 castles. We're going to Han Christian Andersen's house. We're going to Knitting for Olive and a bunch of other local yarn stores. It's going to be incredible. So 3 knitting tours currently on offer. There's currently room on all of them, so you can't go wrong. Pick which one you love, that speaks to you, that ignites your heart, that makes you feel, oh my goodness, I can't wait for 2026, and I'll see you there. So again, link is in the video description, or you can go to www.rachelisknitting/ wait, how do websites work? www.rachelisknitting.com/tours. And that'll take you to a website where you can pick each of the itineraries, read through them, poke around, see what you like, see what you don't, and sign up for the tour that makes your heart sing. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for announcements. I went over Spin Diary, I went over acquisitions, I went over project updates. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say. Actually, that's not true. I have one last thing to say. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being long-suffering. If you were on the edge of your seat every Tuesday and you thought, gosh darn it all, another Tuesday with no upload. Surely no one was like that, but if you were, thanks for hanging in there and sticking around while you waited for me to get those mental ducks in a row. They are just so ornery, aren't they? But yeah, I hope you're doing well. I hope that you're finding joy in whatever project you're working on, whether it is crochet, knitting, spinning, weaving. I just want the best for you, and I hope you're doing great. And I hope that those mental ducks aren't giving you too much trouble this week. Anyway, that's all that I have. So hope that you have a great day. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you don't already, and hit that notification bell to be notified of my next upload. Last but not least, head over to where? Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and follow me at Rachel is Knitting if you don't already. See, it's been so long, I don't even know what my outro is. Whatever.